What's up guys, Zaid here, and today I've got a deck profile for you. Recently I've uploaded a lot of IRL deck profiles from decks doing well at my locals, and today I got one from Dueling Book. I got my ass handed to me by this list, and as a player that used to play Infernoid, I love this deck, and it was really cool seeing a list that was pretty coherent and destroyed me. So I asked him for the list, he gave it to me and said it was cool for me to show it off. Dude didn't have any shoutouts, so I'm gonna fill that role. Shout out myself, hit that subscribe button. Do what you got to do. Thank you. And then for the list, he plays 3 Decatron, 1 Sept, 2 Sitesimus, 2 Devi, and 2 Anunsu. This I thought was really cool right off the bat because he plays the Dogmatika engine, and so he doesn't need any of the little monsters as removal because you have cards like Nadir's Servant, Ecclesia, and Maximus that can either send a Tis in regards to Maximus and Servant, and Ecclesia searches the punishment, which then can send a card and send a Tis. So he doesn't really need the removal aspect of the Infernoids, and they don't really extend into much. So he just opted to cut them from the list altogether, which I thought was really cool. You still have to keep Sept so that you could summon a 6 and 2 1s off Feast, and then the Sitesimus is good removal, but also you can summon a 7 and a 1 off of Feast. So it's just dual purpose there, whereas if you played a Tundale, he's an 8, so you're not getting a Decatron off him. And then 2 of each big guy, presumably because you're going to need 1 of each to send off of the Feast when you summon, but you're also going to need at least 1 of each for a Void Imagination to resolve. So it's kind of just you need to have at least 2 sets of this card, and if the game grinds a little bit, you want it. And he's got a bunch of going second cards. The 3 Gamma and a Driver, the 3 Forbidden Droplet, and the 3 Imperm. Droplet's kind of cool in a deck like this because there's 7 cards right here, 8 counting Driver, that are literally non-cards. These cards in hand and engraved do the exact same thing. So they're just really free discards. Also, if you go Decatron and they try to interrupt it, you could just chain Droplet, send the Decatron, negate one of their cards, and still get the Foolish one. So it's pretty multi-purpose there. There's also instances where you could use it on their turn, say you flip Feast, send Vanishment, then you could flip Droplet, send Feast. There's a cool utility with this card. And then 3 Imperm, which is cool because it allows you to stop plays, and it also hits an Appaloosa if you're going second, or just baits a negate if you draw into it as your 6th. Then we got Dogmatika Ecclesia, 2 of, 1 Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Maximus, and the 3 Nadir's Servant. This is a pretty cool line for this. The Maximus has an extra purpose that it doesn't have in other decks, where it can send an Infernoid name, which is kind of cool. You typically only really see this card sending either Natisses or Shadal cards, but the fact that in this deck it's also an Infernoid name for the banish to summon mechanic, that's kind of cool. And then it's also got the Ash Dragon it could send, of course. Then he's got 3 Prosperity. I feel like a card like this is definitely the best for this deck. You could play Extrav, but drawing 2 isn't as good when your deck is kind of littered with these cards that do nothing. You'd rather get to look at 6 and pick the most valuable card. And then Desires you can't really afford to play, because if you banish 2 Anunsu or 2 Devi, a lot of your power cards are turned off. Same with if you banish Sept, or if you banish too many Decatrons, it would just kind of turn your engine off. So that seems like the correct pot to me also. And then 2 Imagination, 3 Vanishment, 3 Feast, 2 Punishment. Punishment you search with your Ecclesia to help set up a board. Imagination is Shadal Fusion on steroids. And then Vanishment can search either one of that or Feast. And so this deck seems really well rounded in the main, is equipped to go first and set up 2 to 3 interruptions easy with follow-up, or equipped to have the ability to break a board or prevent a board from being built and then push through for game. Having board wipes and stuff, and Shadal Fusion for 6 from deck. In the extra deck, he's got double Tiara. Presumably, one of them gets resolved with the summon, and the other probably gets sent off of its effect to send 3, if you don't need to send these. This is another cool overlap with the deck, too, though, where if you only have access to the Infernoid engine, and you're able to fusion, you can just Ash Dragon, which will be able to float into Ecclesia. And then the triple Natis. Well, I didn't even get to finish my thought. I just interrupted my own self, god damn it. the Ecclesia, when it gets summoned out, can either search, because it's on the end phase, you're probably grabbing Fleur-de-Lis, but it also has Maximus if you need Maximus for the following turn. It also, if you open Infernoid engine with a Maximus, that's just a way to make it live. If you're able to fusion summon, you send 3 from the extra deck to the grave. Now you have extra deck cards to banish for its summon. So then, yeah, the 3 Natis, the Ash Dragon, and Omega. I think this is really cool in this deck too. It's kind of dual purpose. If you Gamma on your turn to protect like a Vanishment or an Imagination, then you're able to also make the Omega rip a card out of their hand or put banished cards back. But it also can be sent off of the Tiara or off of any of the Dogmatika cards as a way to interrupt the opponent's graveyard or to recycle some of your cards. Maybe in a grind game, your Imagination's dead because 2 Devies are in grave, and you're able to just put 1 back to the deck and continue to go. And then you got the 3 Void Vanish. Oh, why'd I go back to the main? What am I doing? The Crusadia Equimax. This card is basically an Infernoid card. For those that don't know how this interaction works, this card gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all the monsters it points to. And then monsters this card point to can attack. So you can summon like Sightsamis to his zone and then a Devi. And it's going to gain the 26 and the 29. And so he's going to be huge. And then after you attack with him, you Sightsamis, tribute him to banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. And now you don't have monsters. He's not pointing to anything. So those monsters can attack again. So it just helps you go for OTKs without having to do much. It's only a link 3. That's not that hard to get to. Then to help get to that is a Helki Fibrax, another card you can make off the Gamma Driver. Plus Decatron's a tuner. So Deca plus anything gets you there. You got the Hita the Fire Charmer. This card can also help you get to the Equimax. If your opponent ashes you and you just have access to 2 fires, bring that ash here, boy. Make this. Then Phoenix Unicorn, break boards. I'm surprised there's not an access code in here with the Unicorn being in here. But these are probably just for removal and stuff. And then the Secure Gardener, an All Mirage, and Gravity Controller. The Gravity Controller is to hit the Tiara out of the extra monster zone if you want to get rid of the levels. Because Infernoids lock you. If you have level 8 or higher, I believe, you can't summon Infernoids anymore. It might be 8 or less. Let me check how that works. If your total levels are 8 or more, you can't summon Infernoids anymore. So this, if you have to resolve the Tiara, you can then put in the extra monster zone, Gravity Controller, get rid of it. Now you have an extra Infernoid in grave, and you have no levels, so you can continue to play. And then the All Mirage Secure Gardener, I'm assuming you go Deca, dump, make All Mirage, make Secure Gardener, and then you can banish the All Mirage to summon Maximus. And then in the side deck, he's got Triple Lancia, just high impact hand trap, kind of stop your opponent, then you can break their whatever board they do muster up going second. Looks like a decent amount of back row hate with Pankratops, Harpy's Feather Duster, double Cosmic Cyclone, triple Evenly, and the Red Reboot. I'm assuming he has so much back row removal because this is very good. These 9 going second cards here. 10 when you're considering side deck because you take out Driver if you take out Gammas. But he's got these 10 that are very good against combo decks. So if he's able to have all these to tutor in against the back row type decks, you might have a bad game 1 because of the fact that it's more oriented towards combo. But either the Infernoid engine can carry, or game 2 and 3 you can rely on all this removal. And he's also got the Called By, which is probably for going first, just to ensure you don't get hand trapped. The Imagination, which you bring in going second, help you break boards. And then for going first, the Imperial Order and the Skill Drain. These cards are just like insane floodgates. We all know how powerful Order is because of it being played against the, not played against, but played in Tri-Brigade mainly. But Skill Drain hasn't been seeing as much play, and this card's kind of cracked. Especially when all your Infernoids tribute for cost and then they resolve in graveyard so they don't get negated by your Skill Drain. If you guys like this deck profile, make sure you like and subscribe and all that jazz, and thank you for watching.